Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We are in the Sunday program. This week it's online because of the snow. The weather is not um, like convinced. What is it? It's not comfortable for us to drive and then go back. See, Radhika Mataji is showing Radha network. Thank you, Mataji, for the darshan. Their lordships. Let me. Mataji, can you show again?
Haribo, Radhika. Oh, Haribo.
Haribo.
Hari Bol. So beautiful, Mataji.
Radha Nataba Ki Jai.
Jai.
Haribo.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yep. So we are here today to discuss about Nectar of Instruction, Upadesamrta, verses 9 to 11, the last three verses. But we will quickly go and do a recap of the things that all the verses that we have read so far and discussed. So it will be a nice conclusion for Nectar of Instruction. And before we discuss about any spiritual topics, we say a few prayers so that me sitting here and speaking and you sitting there and listening, we all will be able to render this as a service to Krishna. Please say along with me. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya
Akayat.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri
Tasmaya
Gurave
Sri Gurave
Namaha.
Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes to the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om
Namo
Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya.
Prasthaya
Krishna
Bhutale
Prashta Bhutale.
Srimate
Srimate
Bhaktivedanta
Bhaktivedanta
Swami
Swami
Nitinamine
Nitinamine.
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati
Saraswati
Deve
Deve
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pracharine
Pracharane.
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi
Shunyavadi
Pasyatya
Pascharta
Deshatarine
Deshatarane.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I request if everyone can unmute once and we'll say the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all together. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Thank you. So we are all trying to follow Krishna consciousness. But why are we following Krishna consciousness? We'll make this session interactive. So we all know what are the four activities that are common between humans and animals, right? What are those?
Eating,
Sleeping,
sleeping,
having a fun, and defending. So these four activities are all common between humans and animals also. They eat, we eat, they sleep, we sleep, they create a family, they procreate, we do that same, and they create a shelter and they defend themselves and their family, and we do the same. But if those are the four things that we do and we don't do anything else, then there is no distinction between humans and animals. So we need to raise above that animalistic platform, and to raise that is by taking a step towards spirituality. The humans can ask the question, who am I? Why am I here? So that is called in the scriptures as Atato Brahma Jignasa, the inquisitiveness. Animals cannot ask, they just are under the control of nature. They are just the morning they wake up, they look for food, where is food, where is food. And then after having food, they will be like, when can I have sex, like that. This is what Prabhupada writes in his purport. So, and if humans are also doing the same thing and not inquiring why are we here, what is our purpose, then we are no different, no better than animals. In order to do that, then once we take a step towards spirituality, then we start our real purpose of human life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. And this Krishna consciousness is the path that takes us towards the ultimate goal, which is to go back and be in the association of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, so we know what are the do's and don'ts of Krishna consciousness. What are the do's and don'ts? What are the do's?
No intoxication.
No, those are don'ts, right? The do's is chanting. We all have
Chanting.
to do chanting.
Chanting.
And any based on your capacity, if you want to start with 1, 2 like that, but the prescribed rounds are 16 rounds. 16 rounds of chanting. And what are the don'ts? What are the 4 things that we need to avoid? No meat
Intoxication.
eating,
No meat eating. No gambling.
no gambling, no illicit relationships.
Uh,
Okay, so no meat eating means including no fish, no eggs, no chicken, no meat at all. No intoxication means no alcohol, no cigarettes, like that. And no gambling means like not wasting our time and money and resources. And finally, no illicit relationships means um, keeping ourselves very pure. Okay, so what is more important, knowing the principles or applying the principles in our life?
Obviously, bro. Applying.
Okay, so why?
Um, that will change
Yes,
things.
for transformation, for the real change to happen, the application has to be there. Just knowing the principles will not be enough. We need to apply them in our lives also. So how can we apply the principles of Krishna consciousness? When we know that once we take to the Krishna consciousness, we are on the path towards the spiritual life, to the spiritual goal. But we know that path is always full of so many obstacles. And in order to cross those obstacles without falling down, we need some help. Correct. So the application is not easy. Knowing something is very easy. We know how to do this. Okay, but unless and until we start applying, we will not know what the challenges are in the process. And once we face those challenges, our progress will be hindered. In order to not hinder our progress, we need some more knowledge or help to understand or to know how to overcome those challenges. And that's where Nectar of Instruction, Upadesamrta comes. It is a guidebook for all the people who want to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is like any other process that will have its own challenges. It's like because we have been in the material world from time immemorial and our mind has been filled up with so many material desires. We cannot suddenly say, oh, all of a sudden I will take Krishna consciousness and next day I am pure. No, we have to purify ourselves. And in that process, all our desires will be put to test. We might be having so many desires. Do we still have those desires, or are we sacrificing all those desires for making progress in Krishna consciousness? Those will be coming, and we need strong conviction to get rid of all of our material desires and uh, convert all our desires just for making Krishna happy. For that, we need to know that am I doing the right thing or the not the right thing, and that guidance is provided by Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. And who is Srila Rupa Goswami? He is the primary Goswami in our 6 Goswamis. We have who's Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and Gopala Bhatta Goswami. So it is written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So we'll do a quick recap. Nectar of Instruction has 11 verses. We completed until verse 8. we'll do 9, 10, 11 today, but we'll quickly go through 1, 2 like that. So what is the first verse talking about? How to become more qualified in Krishna consciousness. Uh, Qualification is the key. If we say that 2 multiplied by 2 equal to 4, we can easily understand. But someone who doesn't know anything, if we just tell that, if someone doesn't know what maths are, what numbers are, will they understand when they see 2 by 2 equal to 4? No, they won't understand anything. So same thing, we have to first know and we have to be qualified to understand. And similarly, if I want to say I want to meet the president, will I be able to meet right away? No, right? Because we cannot meet the president by ourselves. We have to have some qualifications, or we have to do some work where the president will know that, oh, this person is a great person. He is doing some great work. Let me ask him to come and meet me. Same thing. If just for meeting a president, or even forget about president, even some like person or boss in our office, if we want to get an appointment, we have to work through the assistants and all those people to get it. Then how are we imagining thinking that, oh, I will just want to see Krishna and Krishna will appear right away? No, right? So even in spiritual life, we have to be fully qualified. What qualification is that? The qualification that we don't have any desires other than the desires to make Krishna happy. In order to get all those qualifications, we have to control 6 things. What are those? Those are called the 6 forces or vegas or demands. One is the urge to speak. The next one is the mind's demands. The next one is our anger. And the next one is the 3 bodily demands, which are the urges of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. How can we control each of these urges? We can control the speech by speaking only about Krishna consciousness and Krishna's activities, pastimes, name, form, like that, and avoiding all prajalpa, means mundane materialistic topics. How can we control the urges of the mind? By fixing our mind on Krishna and always avoiding any agitations which are caused by Maya. What is the process for that? We can chant, right? When we are chanting, we are listening to what we are chanting, our mind will fix. How can we control our anger? We can control our anger by using the anger in the Krishna's service. Examples are like Lord Hanuman, like Arjuna, and all who are just following the instructions of Krishna. And even if they use their anger, it is for Krishna, so it is purified. And we have to be very careful on this one, because the anger, sometimes we might think that, oh, I'm getting angry because of Krishna. No, really, if we are getting angry, there could be, we have to take a step back and discuss. We know from chapter 2 that when we are thinking of the materialistic things, dhyayato vishyan pumsha, right? When we are contemplating on the material things and we are associating with material objects, then we develop a deep desire. And when that desire is not fulfilled, then it turns into anger. And when it is fulfilled, it becomes more and more greed. So we have to understand, as my is my anger getting is real due to pure anger, is due to material desire, or is due to spiritual desire to make Krishna happy. If we don't know, we can ask someone who we accept as a mentor, and they will tell us your anger is right or not. And the last one is the urges of the body, and how we can engage our body in Krishna consciousness by performing the 9 kinds of devotional service. Example for that is King Amrish Maharaj, who engaged all um, his hands, legs, ear, nose, everything in the service of the Supreme Lord. The 3 categories of bodily urges are going back, which is tongue, belly, and genitals. If you see, all 3 are form a straight line, and it is said that if you control the tongue, these 2 automatically gets controlled. Means if we are eating only Krishna prasadam, and if we are controlling the amount of prasadam we eat, our belly will be controlled. And if we are speaking only about Krishna consciousness, and we are what we eat, right? So if we are eating only pure prasadam, which is pure food always, then our whole body will become pure, and both these 2 will also be purified. And how can we control the belly is by avoiding overeating and observing fasting days. And how we can control our genitals is by begetting only Krishna conscious children and avoiding illicit relationships, because those are the ones that will capture us in Maya. And we can also make more progress, become more pure by performing deity worship and practicing humility. And these are the 9 kinds of devotional service, which is hearing about the glories of the Lord, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Padasevanam, right, which is hearing about the glories of and pastimes, chanting the glories, remembering the Lord, serving the Lord's lotus feet, worshipping the deity form of the Lord, offering obeisances to the Lord, acting as the Lord's servant, and then becoming a friend and surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So we have read what are the qualifications that are required. Now, what are the 6 don'ts in bhakti? Anyone remembers? These are here. We should not eat or collect, we should not eat too much, or we should not collect more funds than required. And we should not endeavor for material things which are very difficult to obtain. We should not talk about mundane material subjects, which is prajalpo. Niyamagraha means we should not follow. Yeah, we should not follow the regulated principles only for the sake of following them. We should reject the rules and regulations, or we should not, and also we should not reject the rules and regulations, uh, thinking that they are not going to help us. The rules and regulations that are prescribed are meant for our progress, and we have to follow them. And the thing is, janasangasya means we should avoid the association of worldly minded people. And finally, we should not be greedy for mundane material achievements. Laulya means greed. And what are the do's in bhakti? The first one is being enthusiastic. Next one is we have to have confidence. We need to be patient, acting according to the regulative principles, and abandoning association of non-devotees, and finally following in the footsteps of acharyas. What is the verse 4 describing about? It is describing about the 6 loving exchanges. Okay, now understand the do's, the don'ts, and I want to be in Krishna consciousness. And we know in Krishna consciousness, the first one is in order to make progress, the 9 stages in devotional service is Shraddha. Next one is Sadhu Sangha, means association of devotees. When we come into the association of devotees, what are the important things that we need to follow? Or how we can maintain good relationships, or how we can improve our relationship or our association with the devotees is by these 6 loving exchanges, which is offering, giving and taking, accepting gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, or inquiring confidentially about their life, accepting and receiving prasadam. So if you see Bhagavad Gita, right, you have Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Gnana Yoga. First 6 chapters of Karma Yoga, next 7th to 12 chapters are Bhakti Yoga, last 6 chapters are Gnana Yoga. Or even if you take the 3 kinds of devotees, which are the devotees who are in distress, the devotees who are looking for gnana, the devotees who are inquisitive. If you look at the order of all those things, the important thing is always mentioned in the middle, and other things are mentioned on either side of it. Same thing here also. If the first one is offering gifts, the next one is mentioned as inquiring in confidence and revealing in confidence, and third one is accepting prasada. So what we have to understand is, out of these 3, the second one, which is revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially, is very important. We have to be very careful and selective in terms of who we do this. But if we are very merciful with the other devotees, we can always do this. We can always exchange prasadam, we can take prasadam, we can give gifts, we can accept gifts. The reason for this is, once we start associating and start revealing ourselves, and we take counsel from the devotees, we start thinking alike. And if we associate with, then will come who we should associate with, which is the next verse. But before that, let's take another icebreaker question. What is more important and why? Thinking about doing something, feeling that something must be done, willing to do something, or actually doing something? Anyone wants to answer?
Actually doing something.
Why?
It gives results when you
Yes.
actually do it.
Yeah. So same thing. It brings about change. It's just not within our mind. We are thinking that, yeah, we might think that so many thoughts will come, and we might feel like, hey, this must be done, and we are so much willing to do it. But if we don't do it, then there is no difference, right? It is still within our mind, and especially in Kali Yuga, um, this is both good and bad. In terms of good, we might be getting so many bad thoughts. We might be thinking of doing some bad things, and we might be almost close of doing those bad things. Unless and until we do the bad thing, we will not get the bad result. That is the advantage we have in Kali Yuga. And similarly, when doing a good thing, unless and until we do the thing, we will not get the outcome of that. So actually doing something is very important. So far we know what are the things that we need to do, right? And we want to stop those things. We want to do these things. We want association. We want to give gifts. We want to accept gifts. We want to give prasadam. We want to accept prasadam. We want to build a strong community where everyone can happily and comfortably open up their mind and share ideas and all. But if we are not actually doing something, then there is no difference. And how we can do this is that we'll know that who we should do it and how, and which is what the three stages of devotees will come into picture, which are what are the three gradations or three grades of devotees that we discussed about. Anyone remembers the three adhikaris?
Uttamadhikari.
Madhyamadhikari.
Kanishta adhikari. Yes, very nice. So the gradation is based on how strong the faith is, and how much knowledge of scriptures we have, and how we relate to other devotees. Adhikar means eligibility or authority to perform devotional service. Kanishta means beginning. Their faith is not as strong. If they are presented with a better logic, saying that, hey, this process is better than Krishna consciousness, they might move. They might stop Krishna consciousness in the middle and go. And their knowledge is not, they are just coming into Krishna consciousness, so they don't have the real conviction that Krishna consciousness is the goal of this life. And when they look at other devotees, they will bring the devotees who are already following Krishna consciousness into their level. If they have some bad ideas or bad thoughts, and if they see some devotee acting on particular way, they attribute those bad qualities to the other devotee and think that that devotee is also acting on with the same material desires or with the same conviction. They bring the other devotee to their level and try to show them in bad way. And that's why when associating with Kanishta Adhikaris, we have to give them more services to purify themselves instead of taking counsel from them. Means that we should give them guidance, but not take them as our who give advice to them, because the advice the Kanishta Adhikaris give will be always contaminated with material desires. And comes the Madhyama Adhikari or intermediate stage. Their faith in Krishna consciousness is fully established. Means they are fully convinced that Krishna consciousness is the goal and for their life. If presented with a better logic, they will not sway. They will stick to Krishna consciousness, and their knowledge is in scriptures is great in terms of that they get the conviction. They will not. They know that Krishna consciousness, Krishna is their ultimate goal. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Everybody is an expansion of Krishna, and nobody is equal to Krishna. That conviction, that knowledge is there. And when they relate to the devotees, they make the distinctions. They actually will see, oh, this person is a Kanishtadhikari, this person is a Madhyamadhikari, this person is a neutral person, I can bring them into Krishna consciousness. Oh, this person is a pure devotee, I have to offer complete obeisances onto him and follow his or her instructions. Or this person is an atheist, we should try to avoid them. And finally, the Uttamadhikari is a person whose faith there is no question. And they have full knowledge similar to the Madhyamadhikari about, and they have also pure love, how to attain pure love for Krishna. And they relate to other devotees in the sense that they don't make these distinctions between those devotees, because for them they look at Narayana within the heart of everyone. They and What is the difference then between Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari? A Madhyamadhikari will not, the reason they make the distinctions is a Madhyamadhikari is not so fully established in scriptures that they can convince others also. The knowledge they have in the scriptures is enough for them to convince themselves. But if they reach the level of convincing others in any argument, win over others in any argument, and bring even atheists to Krishna consciousness, then they are Uttamadhikaris. So all the people we see that who are in ISKCON and the pure Vaishnavas who are able to bring so many people into Krishna consciousness, they are all Uttamadhikaris. And this is a gradual process. It is based on the progress that we make. And it is not discrimination, it is gradation. Just like we have in the schools, they identify this person as a gifted person, or this person is like an average student, like that. Or even in terms of sports, some say these are elite players, these are like average players, these are not so good players. Same thing. And it is, we cannot say it as discrimination because it's not based on our birth or anything. But it is based on how much effort we put in Krishna consciousness. And when we see a Kanishtadhikari, we should immediately offer respects by folding our hands. If we see a Madhyamadhikari, we should offer like Panchanga, like pranam. And if we see a Uttamadhikari, we should immediately fall flat and offer Dandot pranam. And what is the thing that distinguishes or takes us from one level to other is initiation. And we can have a whole lecture about the importance of initiation. But in here, we can see that if we want to go from Kanishtadhikari stage to Madhyamadhikari and from Madhyamadhikari to Uttamadhikari stage, that we have to first surrender ourselves to Krishna. And at the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of Krishna, Krishna accepts him to be as good as him himself. That's why we start getting more and more purity, because there is a direct link that is established between us and Krishna through the Guru Parampara. And until then, it's a dotted line where we do get the benefit of chanting. But once we get initiated, we will see ourselves, the progress that we make in Krishna consciousness is multifold than before. And what did we discuss about Nectar of Instruction number 6? This is where we know we have the confidential knowledge, most confidential knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, right? What is the confidential knowledge? That we are not the soul. What is more confidential knowledge? Devotional service is the topmost yoga of all. What is the most confidential knowledge? In devotional service, there is this Ananya Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. That is what we have to achieve for. Unless and until we achieve that unalloyed devotional service, we will not be able to go back home, back to Godhead. The moment we come into devotional service, liberation is guaranteed. We are already in the Brahmabhuta stage, means that the moment we are initiated, when we are chanting, we will get Brahman realization and the liberation right away after leaving the body. But devotees don't want that. They want to go back home, back to Godhead. And for that, they need to purify their heart. Then we all need to purify our hearts. So that is called Ananya Bhakti. It is unalloyed. Ahaituki apratihata means there is no tinge of motivation or desire for sense gratification or anything, material desires. And it is also called in Nectar of Instruction, Avya Vicharani Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion. And what it does is it makes us pure. And one of the 4 pillars of ISKCON is purity. And what is the purity? Is the force. Unless and until we are pure, our motivations or our desires, Krishna will not grant. Krishna will only grant if we make ourselves pure. And actually, even if our desire, there is akama, sarvakama, mokshakama, udardi. Means like even if we are desiring for liberation, even if we are desiring for material desires, if we are pure, Krishna will purify those desires also. So ultimately, it goes back to all fingers pointing to yourself only, saying that you means we have to purify ourselves. Unless and until we purify ourselves, we cannot make progress. And Krishna will also not really manifest for us until we become pure. And Krishna will manifest if we get the blessings of pure devotees. So going back to Godhead requires us to be. And when I say these things, I know some devotees here are starting new. Uh, don't feel that, oh, this is very difficult, like that. No, everybody has to make progress. We don't want to stop there. And these are called shastras, means the scriptures. Uh, Shastra is sometimes will be harsh. Shastra, and the similar word is shastra. Shastra means weapon. A weapon, what it does, it cuts. And similarly, a shastra also cuts. What does a shastra cut? It cuts our ignorance. So, and Shastra is, when a weapon cuts something, it becomes painful. Similarly, when Shastra says something, it will be painful. But we can use, what we can use is, we can use some pastimes that will help us understand, to make the pain less, not the pain, but thinking that, oh, it's very hard, it will be inspiring if we look at some pastimes. Um, yeah. Now what we discussed about in the Nectar of Instruction 7, how to make the medicine work, how to become pure. When we are all suffering with the disease of material sense enjoyment, and what is the cure for the disease, or what is the prescribed medicine for that disease? Anyone?
Chanting.
Chanting of the holy name. In this Kali Yuga, Harirnama, Harirnama, Harirnama eva kevalam kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatranyata. Means in this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. It is chanting, chanting, chanting is the only way of deliverance. But how does the chanting work for us? How can it make us pure? By doing the chanting without any offenses, without doing any of the 10 offenses. And we discussed, it's called chanting. It's chanting, 10 offenses in chanting the holy name. We should avoid those 10 offenses, and we discussed about those 10 offenses by comparing it with how the medicine works, right? In that chapter. And there are different levels of chanting. We are all in the first stage, which is now, from myself when I'm speaking, we are in the Namaparada stage. Our mind is not focused, and we do these 10 offenses, and we are chanting. But we should strive to go to the Namabhas, which is reduce the offenses. We have to reduce the offenses and still chant. And if we are doing the chanting by not doing any offenses, then it is called Shuddha Nama. Shuddha means pure. So that means that we became pure. And once we reach that stage, whatever we want, it automatically happens, because Krishna is um, sitting in our heart, and he says, if a pure devotee wants to do something, it automatically happens. So let's see it in a pastime, right? So what is more important, an idea or the implementation of the idea? Anyone?
Implementation of idea.
Why?
Then only we will get something.
Yes.
It's like
So, and also that is where we will understand who is putting a lot of effort in Krishna consciousness. And an idea can come, it's a thought, right? Anything that is in the mind is not really matters, because people will get so many ideas can be thrown out there. Like from my experience at work, where I sit in a idea review panel, it's a board where selective people go and approve. We get ideas so many times into the table, and we think that, oh, this is a great idea, go ahead and implement. And towards the end of the meeting, we also look at the status of the ideas that come. And it turns out that 90% of the ideas don't even go to the implementation stage. Or even some of the ideas that go into the implementation stage, they stop, they fail, because they run into challenges. And even in the scriptures, it is mentioned there are three kinds of people: the first class, the medium class, and the third class. A third class person will only keep on thinking about ideas and never implement them. A middle class person, a medium grade person, they run with the ideas, but as soon as they face a challenge, they drop the idea. But the first class person is a person, in spite of all the obstacles, they implement the ideas. So we will see what those why it is the case, because it is ultimately our mind that we have to convince. we have to control our mind, and if we can get that conviction to go forward in those ideas, then we will be and overcome our mind, then we will be able to implement those things. And we have read from Bhagavad Gita previously that how we can control the mind. The means is abhyasena and vairagyana, means by practice, and by detaching from the material things and attaching. So when if we do keep on doing chanting, it will not only make us pure, but any of the ideas that we have, we automatically implement. And Srimala Prabhu gave a great example last class about how Advaita Acharya brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Krishna to this Kali Yuga in this material world, right? Because he had this idea that only the Supreme Lord can save this entire mankind. And in these people in Kali Yuga who are so fallen, who don't understand the um, purpose of human form of life. So what did he do? He implemented the idea. He brought his Shaligram Sila. He sat on the bank of the Ganges, and every day, constantly, he was worshipping Shaligram Sila with the Tulsi leaves. He did it for months, years like that, and he was always meditating on the Supreme Lord. And because he is a pure devotee, his desire got fulfilled, and there was no the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't come in every Kali Yuga. He comes only he came only in this Kali Yuga, which is in one day of Brahma, which is 2000 different cycles. So we have to imagine that how much pure Advaita Acharya had been for his idea to be approved and to manifest that. So we should always also strive to become pure. And once we become pure, we without any Krishna will make us do the things that will manifest our idea. Why? Because this is what we have been thinking. We want all to go back home, back to Godhead, but there are so many paths, so many obstacles. We don't know if we are following the right thing. But if we follow in the footsteps of Acharyas, they already have traversed the path how we can go back home, back to Godhead. All we have to do is follow the same thing. All we have to do is chant, 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 and then we'll be able to achieve. So that is so far what we have read. And now, once you become a pure devotee, right? What there are some confidential topics that Srila Rupa Goswami also reveals. Technically, until verse 8 is good enough for us to become pure devotees. But in order to convince more, like, not just convince more, in order to help us understand what will be the characteristics of the pure devotee, and what will be the goal, what is the significance of different, how the spiritual world looks like, how it manifests in the material world. We have three more verses 9, 10, and 11. We'll quickly wrap because these are very advanced topics, and sometimes it requires lot of purity for us to even speak and also understand this, so which I'm not there yet, so I will just quickly go on a high level. So Nectar of Instruction 9 is about the confidential topic, which is in the spiritual world, there is a gradation or even the different levels of the spiritual places. Anyone wants to read the verse translation?
Sure, I will.
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Pakunta Janito Vara Madhu Puri Tatrapi Rasot Savad Vindarayam Udara Ani Ramanat Trapi Govardhanaha Radha Kunda Ihapi Gokula Patehe Premam Rita Plavanat Kuryat Ashya Virajato Giri Tate Sevam Vivaki na Kaha.
Jai. Mataji, you want to read the translation? Yes, go ahead.
Sure. The holy place known as Mathura, is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, this transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna. and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna, where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda or Radha Kund, which is situated at the, we have to move it up a little bit.
Oh, sorry, Mataji. I cannot move, maybe. Which is situated at the foot of Govardhana Hill.
Jai, Haribo.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So what we understand is people will think that, oh, you guys are saying why it is Golok Vrindavan, but because we are following in the footsteps of Acharyas and in our Acharya Parampara, like Rupa Goswami and who follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was clearly established that even in the Vaikuntha planets, there is these different grades. Above the Vaikuntha Loka is the Mathura Loka, and it is superior to all the Vaikunthas because the Lord appeared there. And above the Mathura is the forests of Vrindavana because the 12 forests that are there. And we also mark our body at 12 places with the Urtapunda, means the Tilak, to mark the significance of the 12 forests. Means we are in the consciousness that our body is the Vrindavana, inviting Krishna to come and stay in our heart. So those are more transcendental or above the Mathurapuri. And even above the Vrindavan forest is the Govardhana hill. And why? Because Krishna did so many pastimes. He lifted the whole Govardhana hill with his hand and used it as an umbrella to protect all the Vrajavasis. And there is a kund that was dug by Srimati Radharani called the Radha Kund in the foothills of Govardhana Hill. And that is even more supreme, and it is the topmost, and that is what the pure devotee will always hanker for, to go there. And why, we will see in the upcoming verses. Next one, anyone wants to read the chapter verse 10?
I will.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Karmi biyaha parito hare priyatavaya vaktam yayor yanis nas debo gana yana vimukta bhakti paramaha premaki nistastataha hebat debayasta pashu palapakaja pankaja visastabiyopi apisaratika prastatadvad iyam tadiyam sarasitam nasriyat kaha priti.
Yeah,
Jai.
go ahead, Mataji. Anyone wants to read the translation?
In the Shastra, it is said, go ahead, Mataji, Haribo.
Yeah, in the Shastra, it is said that all type of fruitful workers he help who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may be taken to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is supreme to him, superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her kunda is a profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis, who then will not reside at Radha Kunda, and in spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings. Render loving service to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radhakunda are the most fortunate people in the universe. Very good.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. So what we can understand from here is there are many kinds of people in this world. The people who were keeping the atheists aside, because now we have entered into the realm of devotional service. There are people who also use devotional service for getting some material benefits. Those are called karmis. They do some activities, but they have the desire for some material benefit. Above them is the people who are jnanis, means they know that what has to be done and what should not be done. And what is the from reading Bhagavad Gita, we know what is the destination of the karmis. The karmis go to the higher planetary systems and living there after for so many years. Kshine punye marthya lokam vishanti. After their credit is over, just like you go to you take a ticket to a park or something, and it will say this is only valid for one day. After one day is over, they will kick us out from the park. Similarly, by doing pious activities, we get so many pious credits, and those credits will help us take us to the higher planets where there is more enjoyment, more pleasures, and all. But what happens, just like when the credits are over, we have to get out. Same thing when our pious credit is over, we immediately fall back into the earthly planet and again take birth in the lower species. Then at one point come back as human form, and again try doing whatever activities, whether pious or impious. So and the devotees don't want that. The devotees don't want to go to higher planet systems. Why? Because Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartino Arjuna means from the lowest planet all the way to the topmost Brahmaloka, there is these four miseries like birth, death, old age, and disease. We should, that's why and the devotee doesn't want that, they want always to be in the service of the Supreme Lord without these impediments. Then comes the Jnanis. The Jnanis are superior to those because they are aiming for the Brahmabhuta stage. For them, they say that this material world is not a place. They have to get out of this material world. But then their goal is knowledge. They say, what will you achieve? They say, I want only knowledge. I want only knowledge about the Supreme Lord. For them, the destination is the Brahma Jyoti, means after if they are successful in their path of Jnana, they will attain Brahma Jyoti, means. But the problem there, Prabhupada says, is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Patanti Ada, means even from there they will fall down, because you if we go into a room, lock ourselves, we might be there for 1 day, 2 days, even 1 week, 1 month, and at one point we feel like, what's going on? I need to go and associate with someone. Same thing, it's not because it's the body that is doing it, it is because our soul is hankering for more love, and we cannot get that by being alone. So even in the Brahma Jyoti, we, after a few millions of there is no measure the time there, but after so much time, whenever the soul wants to still get more association, and then it will again fall down to the material world, take another body, render devotional service. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlava, means after many births, a person comes to devotional service. Not just an ordinary person, a gnani comes to devotional service with the understanding that Krishna, Vasudeva, is the Supreme Lord, and it is him that the goal is. So the fact that we are all devotees, we have to be very um, cognizant that we crossed all these karmis, jnanis in our previous lives. We have been those karmis. We have been those jnanis. We passed first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and we are now entering into the high school. And maybe some of us are now also past high school, and some went into the college. Why again go back and sit in third grade, fourth grade? We should not, right? Why again hanker to get the material benefits? Why again hanker to get knowledge? We just have to go forward. How we can go forward? By trying for unalloyed devotional service, which is always keep in the heart, I want to go to Radha Kund. I want to take one dip in Radha Kund. I want this. I, Krishna, I want to do this. I want to do this. And if we keep having that strong desire, and we know that an ordinary devotee cannot go and take a dip. Even some superficially, some people living in there who are not devotees go as a picnic and do that, but they are like the real dham is hidden from them. So if we are doing Krishna consciousness and if we sincerely desire that, and there is the condition, right? So whoever is taking a dip in Radha Kund is a pure devotee, then Krishna will automatically make us pure. He will purify us. And then when we take the dip in Radha Kund, our real constitutional position, our Ragatmika Bhakti, what relationship we had with Krishna from time immemorial will reveal to us, and then we'll go back home, back to Godhead. So the last verse in Nectar of Instruction, which is the significance of Radha Kund, stressing more and more about what the Radha Kund is about. Anyone wants to read the verse and the translation both? Okay.
I
Ishan,
will.
yes, go ahead.
Jai.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Krishna yochahi pranaya vasati prayasibiyo apirada kundam chasya munibir habitas tadrig eva viadyayi ya prestaya api alama sulabam kampuna bhakti bhajam ta premadam sakrit api saras natur Aviscaroti. Hare
Enjoy your
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Trying to get the meter for that. Jai Haribol.
Haribol. Mataji, you can read the translation also.
Jai. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Rajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect. Her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely attained, even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's, I don't know, maybe will be purified.
Yes, once pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So what we can understand is how significant is Radha Kund, because of all the damsels of the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost. And we are in the previous verse it is mentioned, right? The significance of gopis. They are even like more advanced than the advanced devotees themselves, because if you see the pastime where Krishna says, hey Narada, when Narada was there, hey Narada, go and tell that I'm feeling I'm getting headache, and ask them that the only way that it gets cured is getting the dust from the lotus feet of the devotees, or their give their dust from their lotus from their feet, and they will have. If I put it on my head, that will cure the headache. Then Narada goes to the queens of Krishna, and he says Krishna is having headache. Queens are so much agitated, or how can we help Krishna? How can we? Then Narada says, okay, you give the dust from your feet, and if we put it on Krishna's head, it will cure. They will be like, no, no, no. How can we give our dust from the feet and put it on the Supreme? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We will. It's a big offense. We don't want to do that. And they don't even come forward to do that. Then Narada goes to Vrindavan and he tells the same thing to the gopis there. Gopis are like initially they inquire about Krishna and they say Krishna is having so much migraine, he's having so much headache, and they feel very concerned. Oh, that how can we help? Then he says, give the dust from your feet and I will take it. And Krishna says if he puts that, it will get cured. That headache will go away. Then the gopis will not even think twice, and then they start taking the dust from the feet. That when they were walking in the bare legs, the dry dust gets attached, so they are scraping that from their feet and trying to give that. And Narada says, "Are you not afraid that you will go to hell because it's a big offense?" Then the gopis says, "No, we are not worried. Even we are ready to go to any hellish planet. But if we know that this is going to help Krishna, make Krishna happy, then we are ready to go anywhere. See, that is the mood. Their only goal is to make Krishna happy. And that is when the pure love is, that we should not have any other desires other than to make Krishna happy. And of all these gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost, because she is constantly thinking of Krishna only. And how much is her love, how much the extent of her love is so much that even Krishna doesn't know. Then you might argue that, oh, Krishna is the all-knowing, he's the Supreme Lord. And what you are saying, that he doesn't know the extent of Radharani's love. Then the acharyas, for that question or the uh, puzzle, the acharyas say that it's like a race condition. So Krishna, being all-knowing, he will be able to know the extent of Radharani's love. But by the time he understands the extent of her love increases further. And again, he tries to understand the more love that got extended. And when he reaches the point of understanding that, again her love extends. So that's a constant race that is going on between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And Krishna, that's why he wants to taste that love. He wants to understand Srimati Radharani's love that she had for him. So he descends into Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this mode of Srimati Radharani. So either we try to make Krishna happy, or if we try to make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happy, it's the same. And how can we make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happy? By spreading this Krishna conscious movement. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we have to always spread the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Then we will be able to fulfill, or we'll be able to make Krishna happy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happy, and then our pure love will get fully aroused. And in order to purify ourselves, we should also have this strong desire to have a dip in Radha Kund. And if we have, and we should add the condition, Krishna, no ordinary devotees can take a dip in Radha Kund. I don't want to superficially go and take a dip in Radha Kund. Even if it takes me so many years, I want to take a dip in Radha Kund as a pure devotee. So please, I want to take a dip in Radha Kund, but I want to do it as a pure devotee. Then Krishna will take us in the direction that first he will make us pure, and then we'll also fulfill our desire to take a dip in Radha Kund. We just don't say that, Krishna, I want to take a dip in Radha Kund, I want to take a dip in Radha Kund. Okay, go and take a dip in Radha Kund, but you might be going as a picnic. We don't want that. Say that, Krishna, I want to take a dip in Radha Kund, and I want my pure love towards you to be revealed. If we say that, then the Krishna will lead us in the direction that will make us both pure and also reveal our constitutional relationship that we have with Krishna. So what we have read so far, we must not only know the principles of Krishna consciousness, the four regulative principles in chanting, but we must also apply them in our lives. We must not just stop with thinking, feeling, and willing on how to maintain relations with the devotees in Krishna consciousness, but we actually do it with full conviction that is going to make us more pure. We must not just feel contented with great ideas, but we should strive to do whatever we can without expecting anything from Krishna in return. Whoever applies the principles of Krishna consciousness acts in accordance with the injunctions prescribed in Nectar of Instruction and implements Krishna's will shall become glorious in their service. Any questions before we close? Questions, comments, corrections, chastisements.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Excellent presentation. Wonderful.
Oh, thank you. All
Wow.
wishes of Lord.
You said a mouthful, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes,
There
Mataji.
should be 100 questions or, takeaways.
Yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to just say one thing about that Brahmayoti effulgence. After the impersonal, it's so impersonal. That's the reason why after all that attainment of reaching that effulgence, then you have to come back and start all over
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
You know, that's terrible, isn't it? You would think, wow, so what I'm trying to say is that Krishna consciousness is personal, and we need that. We need to be. We need each one another. We need to have that personal approach or touch, and we can't be like we're on the phone right now, and no one's saying anything. Okay, Haribol, Hare Krishna. We're so shy. And this is an association. It's an opportunity for us to interact with one another, and we're great listeners. But I just want that more personal effect. I'm just speaking, taking that away from it. So your presentation was very wonderful. And I would like to also say, when you were speaking about the different stages of devotees, the Kanista, the Madhya, and the Udakari, those particular stages that devotees go through is really a stage that pretty much everyone is involved in, whether they're a devotee or not. I'm thinking that when you were speaking about the Kanistas, you were talking about non-devotees, or were you speaking, because you can be a non-devotee in Kanista as well?
Yes and no, yes, Mataji, because if a devotee just came to Krishna consciousness, they are practicing, they are doing some level of chanting, but with not the conviction. As long as they don't have the conviction that Krishna consciousness is for their life, they are still considered as Kanishta. The moment that they say that no matter what, I am not going to live Krishna consciousness, then they came to the Madhyama stage.
Yes. Okay. But I was listening to a lecture earlier, and we were talking about the different modes that we experience while we're practicing devotion. And when we're in this stage of the mode of goodness, the Gunatattva,
Yes.
we're not really practicing. We're practicing a form of bhakti, but that's not really bhakti. You know what I mean?
Mishra Bhakti means like it is it's like alloyed, means it is tinged with some material desires.
Yes.
So even the mode of goodness, the anarthas that are associated with the mode of goodness are pride and satisfaction. If we are following devotional service in that, saying that, oh, I am following Krishna consciousness from last 5 years, 10 years, then we get some kind of pride that will pull us down. Or if we say, I have been following Krishna consciousness and it is giving me so much satisfaction, then also that will keep us in that same level. So we should not be fully satisfied. We should always think that a mother will never be satisfied serving the child, right? She wants to give more and more to the child. And that is the closest relation that we say that we have to achieve in terms of loving Krishna. We should never be satisfied serving Krishna. We want to do more and more and more to Krishna. And we should not, Trinada Pisunichena, we should always be humble. We should never get that pride. We should think that we are Kanishtadikari in front of all the other devotees. Then in that humble mode, then that purity will come. Otherwise, yeah, like you said, very nice, Mataji. So, which is even in the mode of goodness, we'll be stuck.
Jai Haribol.
Hari Bol. Thank you for the reflections. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Anything else before we go to spend like 10 minutes on the other presentation? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.